welcome back to Comic Frontline and fans. You're back with me, Mike Spider Slayer, getting ready to do Spidey Classics Volume 2, Number 1. That's right, guys. If you guys are not familiar with Spidey Classics, this was a video series that I did on my own individual channel, Comic Corner 2.0, where we relive the classic days of old Spider-Man. That's right, guys. This is before Marvel Now. This is before he was the head honcho of Peter Parker Industries. This was before he was not with Mary Jane. This was before Black Cat was a villain. This is before all that. We get to relive all those classic stories. And I thought this would not be a better issue to kick off the newest volume of Spidey Classics by showing you guys the Amazing Spider-Man Giant Annual number 21. Yes, Peter Parker gets married to Mary Jane. I was happy to share this with you, and this is a perfect one to kick off this series. Love the cover. It's so iconic. Mary Jane, Spider-Man, the spider heart in the background. You got the good guys. You got the bad guys. It's just iconic. Cover done by John Romita. This issue is actually written by Jim Shooter, and the script is done by David Michelin, and Paul Ryan does the pencils. This is comics at its finest right here, guys. The book was made in 1987. This was the time where Spider-Man did don the black suit. And we get to see some of these iconic heroes and villains in here. We get to see Electro in this book, which is really a lot of fun to relive him in his old costume as well. We get to see some of these classic panels in here, just newspaper style print. It just really brings back good memories. This book is a lot of fun to look at. Each and every panel is just a visual treat. And just the banter and everything that Spider-Man and Peter are saying in this issue is awesome. Him taking pictures of him being Spider-Man, and him going to J. Jonah Jameson. And the biggest treat in this issue is Mary Jane. Mary Jane just being the superstar model that she is and getting all the attention is just awesome. J. Jonah Jameson with his cigar hanging out of his mouth, kind of being a little bit of a dickhead, but not so much in this issue because Peter is getting married. We get to see his supporting cast like Betty Brant, and just a lot of good things in this issue to visually see. You know, do you miss the days when Peter Parker was sitting there walking on it with his shoes on the ceiling? I mean, that is just awesome. A really nice book to look at. So, now that I went over the artwork with you guys, let's talk about the story here. Let's discuss it. I'll give you some of my final thoughts. In this issue, we wind up finding out that, yes, Peter Parker is getting married. And the wedding is like a week out, and nobody knows this. I thought this was crazy. I'm like, really? I'm like, Peter's getting married, and no one knows. His best man doesn't know. Aunt May doesn't know. Nobody knows, you know? But we get to see him go and do a battle against Electro and whatnot, and beating the common thugs in this issue. And throughout this issue, you wind up seeing Peter thinking about himself having possible cold feet when it comes to getting married to Mary Jane. And many times that Mary Jane makes her appearance in this issue, she's talking about, she's having, big Hollywood producers and people asking her to go to trips to Paris and why settle down, and Peter feels that, man, Mary Jane is just so beautiful, and why is she with me, and, am I not good enough for her, and he always had these second thoughts, and then he was also thinking about, well, man, what happens if, what happens, what's going to happen to Mary Jane? What happens if the same thing happened to Gwen Stacy? What if that happens again? And he really had cold feet about the whole situation. But while he's thinking about that, they throw a bachelor party for him. J. Jonah kind of chips in a little bit about it. A lot of great things in here. And then throughout the issue, yes, once again, Mary Jane's flirting with some guys and stuff like that. And you find out that Mary Jane is also having some thoughts as well. You know, is she ready to get settled in? And it was a whole issue about that. And again, reliving all those memories. The book does a great job at recapping Peter Parker's life throughout this book. When he first became Spider-Man, when Gwen Stacy died, just certain elements of that book were really well done. The pacing of the book was nice. Even though it was a long book, you really loved to relive that history and go back to seeing those iconic characters. Towards the end of the book, you wind up seeing Mary Jane possibly get picked up by the guy, thinking that she's going to go to Paris and whatnot. You know, she gets her dress, she's all excited, and by the time we get to the end, again, Peter Parker confesses to Flash. He's like, you know, you're my best man, Flash. Is this the right thing? And Flash has a heart-to-heart with him, and that's a really cool thing to see because Flash was always the school bully. He bullied Parker for a long time. It was great to see them be the best of friends. Peter Parker has this crazy dream about, you know, obviously about losing Mary Jane, just like the way he did with Gwen Stacy, and it was a really kind of dark dream there for a moment. But in the end, when it came time for those two to get married, they both came to City Hall, and Mary Jane was the first one there. And then Peter Parker comes fashionably late like he would normally, and these two get married, and they wind up going to their honeymoon, and it was just happily ever after, and it was a wonderful issue. So what did I think about this? I thought this was great. This stood the test of time. This is a book that you can pick up and read anytime and appreciate it for the history that it has. To remember what Peter Parker was and to remember what Mary Jane was. She was this go-getter type of character, this loving character that you truly loved, and I loved every minute of this book. By the time they get married, you're just so happy to see them together, and it's kind of what you want today. You want Mary Jane and you want Peter Parker together again, and their love for each other is so strong. Just the lead up to the end of this book was absolutely phenomenal, and this is something, again, that you'll be able to read 20 years from now, and you'll be like, man, I remember those days, and that is a great read. It doesn't show any dated, you know, material. There's no technology in the book. It's just a well-written book, and the pacing is great. And if you want to learn about the history of the character, he's in there too. So in the end, when I give this book a final grade, I gotta give this one a 5 out of 5. This is really well done. I wasn't bored whatsoever, and again, it stood the test of time. So guys, keep the discussion going in the comments below. Tell me what you thought of the Amazing Spider-Man giant-sized annual, issue number 21, if you've actually read it before. And what do you think about Mary Jane currently in the Marvel Universe? Do you feel that she's fitting in the all-new, all-different Marvel with Tony Stark? Do you want her back together with Peter? Is that ship sailed? Tell me what you want from Mary Jane and Peter Parker. So guys, as always, thank you for watching Comic Frontline, and hopefully you enjoyed the first episode of Spidey Classics Volume 2. Guys, thanks again, and take care. Bye.